What's up, Clarissa? Happy to have you on. Are you busy tonight?
No, not really. Just hanging out, getting ready to go to work here in a little bit. So,
There you go. All right. I have us live streaming on Facebook. I need to get this to turn off, otherwise I'm hearing myself echo in the background. There we go. Okay. All right. Cool. So you said you're going into work tonight?
yeah.
Good deal. All right. Well, I have a list of things to cover here, and then we can dive into anything specifically that's bugging you as far as the time management challenges, and see if anybody else pops on here or not. I kind of didn't advertise this well, so we may not get a whole bunch of people on, but that's okay. All right. So mainly with the time management struggles, everybody's got 24 hours in a day, right? It just depends on what schedule and what shift you're on. For fire, it's usually, or EMS, sometimes it's those 24-hour shifts. Law enforcement, usually you have your day shift, evening shift, and night shift. So you have to figure out how to make all of your requirements fit within that 24 hours, but just realize you're tipping it around the clock depending on when you wake up and when you go to bed. So this is my main tips for this is trying to time block your schedule as much as possible. So I have a couple examples of this, and I'm going to share my screen just to pull up a couple quick things that I did to prep here. So one of the things that you can do that I enjoy doing is making a list. When I would work patrol full time before I switched back to part time, I would have my beat sheet with me every day. And I would literally turn it over once I got back to my car at a squad meeting, and I would write out my schedule of what I had planned for that day, maybe the next 2 days. And then also I would fill out a to-do list underneath that. So this Friday schedule was an example of what my evening shift schedule looked like. I went to bed about 2 at night or 2 in the morning, however you want to look at it. So that means I would get up about 10:30. That's about 8 hours of sleep. It was 11 if I was super tired. So roughly I'd get up at 10, I'd eat a snack, work out at about from 11 to 12. About 12:30, I'd start getting ready for work. I threw in breakfast in there when I planned to eat breakfast. Around 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, I was getting ready for work. 2 o'clock, I was leaving for work. The shift was 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then also in here, I schedule my meal times because that helped me to keep it consistent as well, knowing when I'm going to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because you want to get in those 3 meals a day as much as possible. So I would eat lunch around 6. I would do dinner around midnight or maybe on my way home or even at home if I needed to at the end of the shift. And then 2 o'clock was bedtime. So the main thing here is the first thing you're scheduling into your day is your sleep. So for me, that was 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. There's the sleep window right there. Next, I'd schedule in work because that's non-negotiable for your 40 hours a week or however your schedule runs. Work is in the middle there from 3 to 1. So we can't move that, can't change that. After that, you schedule in your non-negotiables. So if you, on your work day or any day of the week, if you have other things like kids' baseball games, sports, church, any other activities that are non-negotiable for you that you need to prioritize or can't move, those go in next. On a work day, sometimes you have those, sometimes you don't, just depending on what your schedule looks like. But typically for me, since I'm single, no kids, I left out my other chores and stuff, non-negotiable stuff on my off days. After that is all of your self-care stuff. So you're looking at your workouts, your meal prep, your self-care, anything else that's working on you personally and what you need to fill your own cup. So for me, that was scheduling in my workout, making sure my workout was in there an hour a day, scheduling out my 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Usually on my work days, I didn't have a whole lot of time for anything else. So that was my nuts and bolts on my work day. On an off day, say maybe it was a Tuesday, and this is just an example, I would still try to get up at the same time. So try to keep your sleep and wake times consistent. Get up at the same time, eat a snack. This goofed. Maybe 11 o'clock that day instead of a workout, maybe that was my self-care time for that week. So I would sit down and read a book or maybe just chill on the couch with my coffee, something like that. So schedule in your self-care within your week somewhere, if not daily. Maybe it's your first off day of the week. I used to work Friday through Monday, so Tuesday was my first off day. I would immediately schedule in your chores or your to-dos. So groceries, cleaning the house, those would be your extra things that need to be scheduled in throughout the week, but obviously you can move those around to make them fit where they can go. And then here's an example of like a non-negotiable. Hey, like I've got son's baseball game or practice at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. So in addition to that, I would write out a to-do list. If I had groceries or lunch with a friend or anything else like mowing the lawn, like stuff that needed to get done, I would write those out below and then look throughout my week and I would figure out what day I would put those on. So maybe groceries, if I didn't have Tuesday already planned out, I'd go back and say, okay, Tuesday's going to be grocery day. Maybe the friend makes sense to put that on Wednesday because that would be the next off day to do. And then you can start looking at those days and plugging those details in at the end. So again, you're planning in your non-negotiables first, which sleep is the biggest priority. Sleep, your work, which you can't move, your schedule, any other things that are non-negotiable, like kids' activities, church, things that have to be in your schedule at a certain specific time, those go next. And then that's when you start finding the holes for your workouts, your cooking, your meal prep, and your self-care. So that's the list method that I like to use. I still do that today and whenever I need to, if I need to write out a schedule and I'm not looking at a calendar or something like that. So that's pen and paper. You can do that in your phone notes. You can do it on a calendar, whatever you need to jot that down. Sometimes it helps to do the list method. Another method that I use sometimes is you can use a spreadsheet. So same thing, you could write out Monday through Sunday or however that works. If you're going to do the spreadsheet method, I would suggest starting this first time up in the corner, making the time that you wake up. So for instance, on Mondays, now my normal schedule, since I work part-time on Saturdays, usually during the week, 8 o'clock is when I get up. I give myself about an hour to get up, get coffee, let the dogs out, whatever. 9 o'clock, I usually sit down for my self-care. So that's reading, journaling, meditating, devotionals, stuff like that. 10 o'clock is about when I start my work day. But with that being said, I know I want to work out about noon. So I throw my workout in about noon. Usually around 3 o'clock, if I go for an extra walk, the walk is somewhere around 3 o'clock. And then I go back in and figure out where roughly breakfast, lunch is somewhere in here, and dinner is somewhere around here. So that way you can physically, you can physically see with this method, like where the gaps are in your day, which I like a lot because then it's more visual. I like being visual. I'm a pen and paper person. So that way I can say, all right, so I've got this time gap here between 10:30 and noon. What do I need to fit there? Maybe usually I wrap up my work day around 7. So if I'm working between here, why does it do that? Then I can figure out at the end of the day if there's anything else I need to do. Or if I need some chores or run some errands in the middle of the day, maybe I need to, like today I had to go get some dog food. Like I wrote in there today that I was going to go run out and grab some dog food before I had lunch after my workout. So following that same structure, this just gives you more of a visual idea of where the gaps are in your day. So you can physically see where they're at. So this helps you to be more intentional with your time. You can see where the gaps are. You can see where you have extra time. At the same time, maybe you, I don't know, maybe you give yourself an hour for lunch and you realize later you can maybe use that time better. You only need a half hour for lunch. So you can look and see where your time's being spent, where you can gain back more time to work on something that you need to, or maybe something, another activity that you're giving too much time to. Or it could be something of like, I don't know, here went by 2 hours and I'm on the couch watching TV and scrolling through my phone. Stuff like that that's not necessarily productive unless you're intentional about it. If you want to make that your self-care time and you're just going to sit there and relax, then absolutely schedule in your TV time or whatever it is you need within that day to decompress. So those are the main 2 methods I use and I would recommend. This one's pretty awesome because like I said, you can see where your time gaps are. And I'll actually pull up for you guys. So I have my own weekly planning template. And this is like my rough time blocking that I use for my normal work schedule. And this I go in and change probably on a monthly basis. I'll look at it and revamp it if I need to. But again, this is more of like a rough outline. It's not necessarily super rigid. It's more of like time blocking my time to keep me focused and on task. But I know the morning time is usually my self-care time. Like it's all color coded. There's a key out here. Self-care time. The yellow is my meal times. The pink is my work times. I have some extra blocks in here for like house chores. I have blocks in here for time with Logan. So time with the spouse. I have that intentionally put in here. And then the green is my workout plan of when I decide to work out. So that way you see you keep it consistent day to day as much as you can. Like the workouts are all at the same times. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner is all at the same time unless I need to move it for some reason. And then Sunday's mostly like my chill day of like I'm chilling at the house, I'm watching church online. We have our date night Sunday nights. We always block that time out, so we're always together Sunday nights. And then typically the evening from about 8 o'clock on is about time for me to chill, watch TV, do whatever I need to do to catch up on chores or whatever else. And then just because this is the time frame I like to stay on, I go to bed about 11. So this again is even more visual, it's even more detailed. But if you love being organized and you want to color code all of this, you absolutely can. So that's like a super in-depth version of that. But so those are the main methods I use as far as time blocking. You have the list or you have the Excel sheet. You can use things like paper planners, calendars, whatever's going to help you to be organized. If you like using your phone or a Google Calendar, that's fine too. But the main things there is working to be efficient with your time, being intentional with your time, making sure it's planned accordingly, because it's really easy in today's day and age just to get sidetracked and get to the point where you miss a couple hours in your day and nothing gets done. If you do all that, you still feel like you don't have time for ways to prioritize yourself, like your workouts, your nutrition, your self-care. I mean, it's going to take some balance to take a look on where you can really dive in and make that happen. But some things, I mean, there's always ways to be more efficient with your workouts and your groceries and meal prep, because a lot of times you can get in a workout in and out in an hour, as long as you have a plan to do so before you get there. And then with groceries and meals, that should only take maybe 2 to 3 hours a week. Maybe you take an hour at the grocery store and you cook for an hour at a time, and you split that up 2 days a week. So that way you have time for your grocery and your meal prep, and it's not, you're not spending like 3 or 4 hours in the kitchen on some elaborate dish that you don't need to have. So that pretty much covers it, the nuts and bolts. Is that something you think that would work for you, or how do you feel
Yeah,
about all that?
definitely. I may, if I have some free time tonight, may try setting up an Excel sheet.
There you go. Yeah, I think that helps so much, because you can actually you can see where the time gaps are in your day if you have any extra time. Or at least maybe rearrange some things where it makes sense. So you're not like going in and out of the house, or you can get more things done on one side of town versus driving back and forth, things like that.
Yeah.
So does that help you? You think that'll be better for you?
Yeah, that'll definitely help. I know I've tried using, I got a calendar planner and I tried using it for a while, but it's like, okay, it starts at 8 a.m. and it ends at 8 p.m. I work overnight. That doesn't
Right.
help me.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I think I've got a paper calendar too, and I thought it's a day-to-day planner, and it's the same thing. It's 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So yeah, it's a little frustrating when most planners are used to the normal people being up during normal people hours, but that doesn't
Yeah.
always work for us, right?
No, not at all.
So yeah, that's where the Excel sheet could be helpful for you. And even maybe like if you have your non-negotiables in there, if it helps you to put into like your Apple or your Google Calendar, it's a good reminder in the middle of the day too, if you like having those reminders and notifications. Like I have my workouts and my walks like in every day just because it's like that time is reserved just for that. But I can make the decision if I want to change that. But otherwise it like keeps that as a top priority, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to make the choice to change it or move it if I need to, instead of it just being like my normal schedule. So
Makes a lot of sense.
another thought for you there. Yeah, because it's one of those things. If it's not written, like for me, if it's not written down, like I either forget it or it doesn't happen. So if I don't, or in my case, if I'm trying to schedule a bunch of people or schedule a bunch of things, I'm terrible about like overfilling myself. So that's a good thing too, is scheduling in that time to block out so you don't overdo it also. Cause I know that's like my weakness is I like overfill my schedule if I can. And I need to stop doing that.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's my spiel. You got any other questions or any other thoughts with any of that?
With time management, not so much.
Okay.
Nope, you answered a lot of the, or gave me ideas on dealing with a lot of the issues I was having. So
Perfect. Cool. All right. Well, test that out. Let me know if it helps or if you need to tweak it or however that goes for you. And then we can tweak and work from there.
all right, sounds like a plan.
All right. Well, cool. I'm hoping this was helpful for you and anyone else who's watching this after the fact. But if you have any more ideas or stuff you want to see these types of trainings, I'm trying to do them weekly now. So any content ideas are fantastic because I'm sure if you have a question or if anyone else has a question, I'm sure somebody else has the same question.
Okay, I will keep that in mind.
All right. Cool. Well, enjoy your evening. Hope you have a good shift tonight.
I will. It's Wednesday. It's one or the other.
There you go. At least you'll be in the AC since it's a nice
Yes,
115 outside.
we finally got AC back. I got AC at home the same day we got AC at work. Yeah, we were dealing with that at work too.
Wow. That's crazy.
It made for very long nights.
I bet. Did you hang on, let me stop recording.